My wife always locked her office door when I got home from work. I thought she was just focused on her side hustle, until I caught her on a video call wearing lingerie, and the man she was talking to was my brother. Hey everyone, welcome back. Quick question. If someone you love acts differently behind closed doors, how long do you wait before opening that door? Because I waited too long, and what I found behind it changed everything I thought I knew about love, family, and loyalty. Here's what happened. My wife, Lily, worked from home. She called herself a freelance brand strategist, which basically meant she took client calls in yoga pants and pitched ad ideas while sipping matcha. I respected it. We didn't make a ton, but her flexibility balanced out my long hours at the firm. The only weird thing was her office door. It was always locked when I got home. Always. I didn't think much of it at first. I figured she just needed space to finish up her workday. But over time it became routine. I'd text her, "I'm home," and she wouldn't come out. Sometimes for 30, 40 minutes. Not even to say hi. I joked once, "What, you hiding secret plans in there?" She laughed. Said, "No, just hiding from capitalism." I laughed too, until the day my curiosity got the best of me, and I came home early. She jumped to close the screen, but I was already walking past her. I didn't yell. I didn't touch anything. I just looked at the monitor, still glowing faintly, now showing a call-ended message. "Why was my brother on your screen?" I asked, keeping my voice low. Too calm, maybe. She didn't answer. Not right away. Instead, she sat down like her legs stopped working, hands on her lap, staring at the carpet like it might give her a better excuse than her mouth ever could. "It's not what it looked like," she finally said. I laughed, really laughed, because that line, that's the kind of thing you say when someone catches you texting your ex, not when your husband finds you video chatting in lingerie with his own brother. "You're gonna sit there," I said, "in silk, with makeup you never wear for me, and tell me this is innocent?" Her mouth opened, then closed again, like she knew she'd already lost the right to even explain. The betrayal didn't hit all at once. Came in pieces. I thought about Thanksgiving, when my brother Jake gave her that funny toast. Too many inside jokes for people who weren't supposed to be that close. I thought about the Christmas gift she got him, way too thoughtful for a sister-in-law. I thought about the night she said she was working late, and Jake just happened to cancel our plans at the last minute. Every memory started twisting, curdling, and the worst part? I didn't even want to hear the truth, because I already knew it, and hearing it out loud wasn't going to make the knife in my chest feel any smaller. I left the house without another word. I didn't slam the door, didn't break anything. I just grabbed my keys and walked out, because if I stayed, I was going to say something I couldn't take back. Or worse, say nothing and let her twist it into something small. The drive to Jake's apartment felt like a blur. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, but my mind was crystal clear. I didn't have a plan. I didn't even know what I wanted to say to him. But I knew one thing: he wasn't going to pretend this never happened. I knocked once. He opened the door in a hoodie and sweatpants, phone still in hand. And the moment he saw my face, he knew. His smile dropped. "Look, man." "How long?" I interrupted. He hesitated. "Don't," I said. "Don't lie. I need to hear it from you." "How long?" He looked down at the floor, like it would save him. Then back up, and finally, quietly, "About 5 months." I swear I saw red. 5 months. 5 months of dinners, text threads, group chats, family birthdays. All while this coward smiled in my face and stole pieces of my life behind my back. "Did you fall in love with her?" I asked, not even sure why I said it. He didn't answer. And honestly, that was worse than anything he could have said. Because it wasn't just a hookup. It was emotional, planned, intentional. I laughed. A dry, bitter laugh. The kind that happens right before your voice cracks. Then I stepped back, shaking my head. "I want you to know," I said, "that Mom and Dad, they're gonna hear this from me, not from you. And the next time you see me at a family event, don't." He tried to follow me out, tried to explain, but I was already gone. Because some betrayals, you don't talk through, you bury them, and you never dig them up again. I told my parents the next morning. My mom was setting the table for Sunday brunch, humming like nothing was wrong. My dad had the news playing low in the background, sipping his coffee. I sat down, and before the food hit the table, I said it. Jake's been sleeping with Lily. Silence. My mom stopped mid-step. My dad lowered his mug but didn't say anything. Just stared at me. The tension folded over the room like a heavy curtain, blocking out everything else. My mom blinked. What? I repeated it. Slower. Clearer. My wife. And your son. For 5 months. She sat down without realizing it. The humming had vanished. Dad leaned back in his chair, eyes still locked on mine, like he was scanning for any sign I might be exaggerating. Lying. Joking. But I wasn't. I walked in on them. It's real. It's done. My mom's voice was barely above a whisper. He wouldn't. I looked at her hard. He did. Dad finally exhaled, then stood up, walked to the window, and just stood there with his back to us. Like he needed a wall between him and the reality that his kids weren't what he thought they were. How do you want to handle it? He asked without turning around. I shrugged. I already told him to stay away from me. What you do with him, that's your call. My mom wiped at her eyes. You want us to cut him off? I want you to know what he did. I want you to stop pretending we're some perfect family. And I want you to stop inviting him to everything like he didn't set fire to mine. Nobody touched their food. Nobody moved. And for the first time in my life, I was the one walking out of that house before anyone else could say another word. The family split was quiet but deep. A few cousins reached out after they heard. Some said they couldn't believe it. Others offered the usual empty words. I'm so sorry you're going through this. But not one of them called Jake out publicly. Not one. Our aunt still hosted him for game night. Our uncle still tagged him in fishing trip photos. The same people who smiled at my wedding were now reposting Jake's gym selfies like nothing had changed. And it hurt more than I expected. Because it wasn't just about him. It was about how quickly people chose comfort over character. How easy it was to pretend betrayal didn't happen if it meant avoiding tension at Thanksgiving. I started turning invitations down. Slowly at first. Then all at once. No more birthday barbecues. No more holiday potlucks. I stopped answering group texts. Muted the family thread. It wasn't anger anymore, it was clarity. Meanwhile, Lily stayed in the house. Said she needed time to figure things out. Said she was sorry. Cried a lot. Offered to go to counseling. I didn't argue. But I also didn't stay. I packed my bags one night while she was asleep and moved into a short-term rental across town. The silence in that space felt foreign at first, but then it felt like oxygen. I'd been choking in our home for months without knowing it. And now I could finally breathe again. Revenge didn't come as some dramatic explosion. No screaming match. No slashed tires. No viral Facebook post. Came slowly, surgically, with the kind of precision only heartbreak can teach you. First, I stopped shielding Lily from the fallout. I let our mutual friends know why I moved out. Not with bitterness, just facts. I told them exactly what happened, exactly who was involved, and left it at that. Most were stunned. A few admitted they'd had a feeling something was off. One of her closest friends even said, she always talked about Jake a little too much. Second, I called the landlord. Lily was on the lease. But I was the one who paid the deposit, the one who had kept up with the bills. So I canceled the automatic payments. She texted me a week later when the rent bounced. I didn't respond. Third, and this was the most satisfying part, I reached out to the brand she had just pitched to, the one she bragged about for weeks. She used my last name, my design work, and our joint finances to build her pitch deck. I let them know the partnership had originally involved my IP, and that I was formally withdrawing all rights. They dropped her. She never saw it coming. And finally, when Jake messaged me a month later, a pathetic, I miss my brother paragraph at 2 a.m., I didn't block him. I just replied, so does your mirror, and left it at that. Because the best revenge is not rage, it's resilience. And watching the people who broke you realize they no longer have access to your life, your peace, or even your silence. Moving on wasn't about dating again or posting some I'm thriving story on social media. It was smaller than that. It was waking up without checking her texts, cooking for one and actually enjoying the quiet, folding laundry without the echo of her voice in the next room. Peace, I learned, doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it just feels like nothing hurts anymore. I started running again. Joined a local group, nothing competitive. Just a few people who met at the park after work and jogged while the sun dipped behind the trees. No one knew my story. No one cared who I used to be to someone else. They just called me, "Hey man," and asked if I wanted to grab coffee afterward. And that was enough. Lily texted me a few times, each one softer than the last. At first it was, "We should talk," then, "I miss you," and eventually just, "I hope you're okay." I didn't respond to any of them, not out of pettiness, but because closure, I realized, isn't always a conversation. Sometimes it's a boundary you hold firm, and a door you never reopen, no matter how gently they knock. Jake? He tried to fix his image, posted a bunch of inspirational quotes, started volunteering with some nonprofit. I guess betrayal looks better with a filter and a motivational caption. But our family never fully recovered. Holidays became fractured. People picked sides quietly. And over time, I stopped waiting for it to go back to normal. Because normal was an illusion. And the truth, however painful, was the only foundation worth standing on. The strange, the kind of clarity pain can give you. For the longest time, I thought strength meant holding things together, being the glue, the peacekeeper, the one who forgives quickly and forgets easily. But now I understand that real strength is knowing when to let go. Letting go of the version of someone you thought you loved. Letting go of the future you built in your head. Letting go of the idea that you need to be okay for everyone else before you're okay for yourself. I used to replay our arguments at night, trying to figure out where I failed, what I missed, what signs I should have seen sooner. But now those thoughts don't come around as often. And when they do, I meet them with silence. Not anger, just stillness. Because I know who I was in that relationship. And more importantly, I know who I am now. I trust myself more. I take longer to answer when someone asks me for something that feels too heavy. I leave when rooms go cold. And I don't chase people who are comfortable wounding me. I've got scars now, sure. But they're mine. Earned. Understood. And every single one reminds me that I survived something I once thought would break me forever. But it didn't. It shaped me into someone stronger, someone softer, and someone who finally knows what peace actually feels like.